14 WILI and 95.3 FM presents Hometown Threads, a closer look at our community and the people that make it go. Every week, you'll hear uplifting stories from our local businesses and our neighbors. Now, here's our host for Hometown Threads, Keith C. Rice.
I still got to trim those eyebrows. Oh, we're on again. Welcome into episode 86 of Hometown Threads on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM and Willimantic Today Facebook, Spectrum 192, the WILI Radio YouTube channel, the Keith C. Rice Facebook page. We can go on and on and on. Oh, soon to be on the Kit Eves Facebook page. We'll get to our guest in just a sec, even though I just said her name. Hometown Threads comes your way on the radio every Tuesday, 5:05 to 5:30. Then you can watch it pretty much anywhere, as I just mentioned, after J. Matt Rupar uploads it to our WILI Radio YouTube channel. It's all over social media locally, and that's where you can check out Hometown Threads. Of course, thanks to our sponsor, Liberty Bank. Be community kind with 3 great local locations, of course, across the street from the radio station at 679 Main Street, West Main Street, Willimantic at Gateway Commons, and Route 195 at Mansfield, Liberty Bank. Be community kind. J. Matt Rupar, if you'd be so kind, and say hello to the fine folks.
Hello.
And, of course, thanks to our podcast sponsor. Of course, a lot of people spend some time at WILI.com, where not only you can check out Hometown Threads, you can check out J. Matt Rupar's show as well. Wait, is your show up there yet? At WILI.com?
Yes,
okay.
it is.
All our wonderful talk shows. Yes, we have talk programming from 4 to 6 weekdays now. Now, it used to just be a 5 to 6 slot. We've increased it now, 4 to 6 p.m., a lot of great talk shows. Go to WILI.com. Get caught up on the Wayno shows as well. Big thanks to my podcast sponsor for Hometown Threads, Tripoli Pro Clean Services. Thank you, Mark Tripoli. All right, here we go. Episode 86 of Hometown Threads. We know her well. Kit Eves. What is your official title at the Lions Club? I know you were president for years. What's your title now?
I am still on the board of directors of the Willimantic Lions Club.
Board of directors.
I served 3 years as president, not 6, not right together. So 1 year, then I had a year off, and then I had 2 years.
Okay. How many years were you president again?
3 years.
3 years.
3 years. And I've held every office on the board except for secretary. And I won't be a secretary because I've always felt that that was what women always had to do on board of directors, was they had to be the secretary and couldn't be anything else. So I'm not going to do that. I'll do everything else I'm asked of, but not that.
So what year did you step down, and when you did, is this when you, because your current president is a good friend of mine, the connector, Christopher Grant, who's just dying to fill in for Hometown Threads. Anyway, is that, what year did you step down, and did you hand it over to the connector at that point, Chris Grant?
No, actually, I haven't been president now for a good 6 years, and Chris wasn't even a member of the club.
I figured it was a ways back. So who took over after you in the Willimantic Lions Club?
I can't remember.
That's all right. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. But anyway, you spent many years as a Lion.
Oh dear, I'm going to hear about that.
You're in trouble. No,
yes, I am.
But we'll get to the Lions Club. It's one of the main reasons that Kit is here. Not only we want to catch up with her, and she's got some great stories to share, and that's one part of Hometown Threads, is the stories that people, our guests, share here on the show. But there's a big event, annual event that's happening this Friday, 3 to 6, Bridge Street, Willimantic. And it happens, well, around this time every year.
This is our 5th year, although we could not do it during COVID. It just wouldn't have been safe for us to take. We didn't know that year how things were being transmitted. So we couldn't take anything. So we did not do it that year. But this is the project that I started as president.
And now let's...
And usually each president starts a particular project that hopefully will continue. And
so this is your baby, the No Free Shelter. This Friday, 3 to 6, Bridge Street. Kit said she's been doing it for 5 years. She started it. It's the No Free Shelter. Well, they're accepting donations for the No Free Shelter.
Yeah.
This Friday, 3 to 6. And
so basically how this happened is that I saw a Facebook post that said people who lived in shelter most asked for socks. They wanted socks because if your feet are in boots, even if they're good, snug boots, your feet get wet. Socks, you perspire, your feet get wet. And if you're living on the street, wet feet that then freeze at night could mean that eventually you lose your toes or your foot, or you get gangrene and you lose your life.
So this started basically with the request for socks.
For socks. And we put boxes all over town, and that was great. And then in the middle of the summer, when I was beginning to think about how we were going to do this project, the light bulb went off, and I said, they want more than socks. You know, people who live on the street need more than socks. So I contacted the shelter again, and I said, you know, give me a list of what people are really wanting. And so I got this huge list, and I'll give you my list for this year. It changes every year a little bit, and I will give you this list for this year. But they also said, you know, well, we could really use this money. And I said, all right, so now I have to come up with a way where we could raise you some money through the club. And it occurred to me that I should talk to your father, Colin, and because I'd seen the truck around town for special events and so forth, and how could we do a big radio thing?
Oh, the clown car?
The clown car.
The clown
so
car,
I
yes.
talked to Colin, who is a Lion. I said, how can we do this? And he told me how much it would cost to be able to do that, to have a live broadcast. And I said, all right, it's the middle of summer. I've got time to raise money. Let's get sponsors. I had to make sure that the shelter would be okay for me to raise sponsorships, because they might be using the similar sponsors for another event that they were doing. So I had to get their permission. And I have to get that every year. And so we raise enough money for the clown car to come, and we get to do these broadcasts, which is wonderful.
And it's driven by clowns, too.
And so, you know, we're going to be on Bridge Street on Friday from 3 to 6, and we're going to be asking you to give us money. That will keep the shelter going. It has already opened for the winter. It opens on November 1st every year. So they need money to be able to pay for the heat and for the hot water so people can shower, just to be able to make sure that the beds get washed on a regular basis, you know, the sheets and pillows and so forth. So they need cash, and they need stuff.
So monetary and stuff, and we'll run down that list in just a sec, as Kit Eves is joining us. We're talking about the big event coming up, the annual event. Friday afternoon, 3 to 6, right there on Bridge Street. Willimantic Lions Club and WILI and I-98.3 will be there. And when we mentioned the clown car, it's really the WILI I-98 car, but it looks like an actual clown car, so you can't miss it.
No,
for those of you who don't know what that is, I had to explain it. But anyway, so we'll run down that whole list. But first, let's get a little background on Kit Eves. This is what we do in Hometown Threads. You came in last week to record the public service message for the event, and then you and I, as I do with a lot of people coming here, we just start talking afterwards, and you shared a lot of great stories about how you came to this area.
Sure.
A lot of people know the Eves family. Of course, Josh, who was, I believe, episode 4 or 5, about 81 episodes ago, he was in the top 10 there. Josh is the owner of All Sleep. One of our sponsors.
And also, All Sleep is one of our sponsors every year. God bless my son. He is a sponsor, and that helps pay for this event. And I am an exceedingly proud mother.
Oh, you should be. When he was here, ask Matt how many times I was singing All Sleep, All Sleep, all you need for sleep. It's just a great commercial thing. Makes you want to take a nap. No, it makes you want to go right over to All Sleep in South Wyndham. All right, so yeah, Josh is doing wonderful. Tell us the story, how you told it to me. Okay. And I know we don't have that much time, but maybe the, what do they call it, the Reader's Digest version, or the Cliff Notes version of how you came to Eastern Connecticut.
My husband, Jamie, is a historian, and he had his master's degree from the University of Maine, his bachelor's and his master's, and he got a full ride at UConn to get his PhD. They paid for his classes, his books. They gave him a teaching assistant job so that he could make a little money while he was taking his classes and writing his dissertation.
Oh, they wined and dined him.
And it was perfect because Josh was 5 years old. He was just starting school, so we started school here. And we got a place. It was the end of summer. It wasn't the greatest place, but it was 3 floors up. But it was it was a place. And we got a map of Connecticut. We put my finger right where our house was, our apartment, and then we drew a circle, which was an hour's drive, and I applied for work in that circle. And I worked in Windsor Locks as their senior center director for 6 years.
So this is in the 80s, correct?
Yeah.
Somewhere in the 80s, because Josh is, I think, around my wife's age. I think they went to school. So Josh is 42 now, right?
I think he's a little older, but
Oh, was he? Okay, in
But
that
anyway.
in that neighborhood. So it was
Yeah.
the 80s.
It was the 80s.
You guys moved to Willimantic. Jamie's got the full ride to
Yeah.
UConn for his PhD, and you're commuting every day, a little
I'm-
over an hour,
right.
Willimantic to Windsor Locks.
And it was before the highway was built, so I'm going through Ellington and so forth to get there every day.
Wow, yes,
And-
before the highway. Oh my goodness.
And in the wintertime, I kept a sleeping bag at the Senior Center and a change of clothes just in case there was a bad snowstorm and I had to sleep overnight, because that's didn't want to have to drive in the snow, even though I learned how to drive in the snow because we came from Maine.
Came from Maine, yeah, no excuses. Come on now.
But part of that is you know when not to drive.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I did that for 6 years, and then I had the opportunity to be out in Columbia. Adele Urban, who was the selectman there, hired me as a community organizer to organize the seniors in the town to build the Becker Senior Center. And so when I started there, we didn't even have the rocks we were going to build on. And
Wow.
I feel that really is my most important thing I've done in my career. I wrote that $500,000 grant to build that senior center.
You've started a lot of things. The Becker
Yeah.
Senior Center and this event that we were talking about on Friday, but that's pretty impressive. You wrote the grant to get that going?
Yeah.
Man.
To me, those are the sort of things that have made a difference. Even if I don't go to that senior center anymore, although I was there for a dinner recently. but,
You must look around and go, yep.
I did. Oh, we used to do this with that room. We used to do this with that room, and
Yeah. That's something to be proud of.
It is, and I walk in the door and I see people that I do, and yeah, I think
That's great.
one of the most important things I've ever done.
Now, and Kit Eves is with us here on episode 86 of Hometown Threads on 14 WILI 95.3 FM. Keith C. Rice, of course, brought to you by Liberty Bank. Be community kind.
Liberty Bank has our mortgage.
Liberty Bank, baby. So, how did you become a Lion? Tell us that story.
Okay, well, actually the Columbia Lions, because I was working at Columbia, they asked me to join. And I did. Part of my being a social worker, that's been who I am, is that you want to make a difference. And I could see that through Lions Club, I could actually make a difference by doing things with a group. Just because you're a leader in one thing doesn't mean that you're not a follower and a doobie person in another project. And so we had a pancake breakfast yesterday, and I'm not in charge of that event, but I went to help, and actually I didn't have to. We had so many people. Good job for that chairperson.
Great volunteer, especially in the Connecticut.
But that's what you are. You're not always the leader, and so to me that was a way to be able to do good work for the community that would make a difference for people, and as a social worker, that's what I've always wanted to do, is make a difference. And so there you go.
How did the annual pancake breakfast / toy drive go on Sunday?
Well, really well. This time of year, we offer our pancake breakfast free to veterans. And obviously in the hopes that they'll bring their family, because we're trying to raise money for good causes. But it's also a way to pay back to people who sacrificed and put their lives on the line for our country, and I think that's important. And I made sure that got to the Veterans Center. That I have a number of friends who are there, and it got to them.
Was the mayor flipping pancakes? As the connector always makes sure.
Yes, the mayor was flipping pancakes. Yes, he was.
Susan there as well? Well, she's running Wayne now. She's probably I know she was there a lot in the past. Because I remember in the kitchen you had the mayor, you had Susan Amy Hunter.
Yep. I used to do the eggs.
You did the eggs?
Yeah. We had a little snafu with some of the eggs, but there's always a snafu. We bought egg whites instead of regular eggs, and so they were a little white at first. But they were better for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we went out and we got some more regular eggs, so we got some yellow in the second batch.
Who made the run? Was it the connector?
No, it was Katie Prosperi.
Oh, she's another big volunteer. She'll be there on Friday, probably, right?
Yes, she will. Yeah,
What's her role?
Katie does a lot of our social media,
Okay.
and she does the posters and things, so I don't have to worry about that. She did my posters for me, and we had a lot of people taking pictures of it at the breakfast so that it would get into their Facebook feeds and stuff.
The Lions, especially the Willimantic Lions, and of course all the area of the Lions, just a great organization. And
100% of everything we make at these projects goes to charity. 100% of everything we make goes to charity. We pay for our club through we have a separate administration fee, and that's how we pay through dues, is that, so that we don't have to mingle them. They're two separate accounts, and we are the only organization in the world that says that 100% of what we make goes to charity. And because of that, the United Nations has us come. We have a United Nations Day every year where Lions come from all over the world, and the United Nations recognizes that that money goes to that.
That's pretty cool. All right, so we're going to get into the event on Friday, and there's a lot to talk about with that. But quick update on the family. Tell us about Jamie.
Many of you know that my husband was diagnosed with kidney cancer 5 months ago. It's very hard. The doctor has given him 6 months to 2 years, depending on how he does with the medications. So we're 5 months into that. He has retired from being the director of the Textile Museum. They've hired a really personable young man who seems to be really, very interested. He's been doing other things other than just museum. They were out doing trick or treat on Main Street the other day, and so he wants to fit into the community. Jamie is still doing part-time work at the museum as the curator. That's the fun stuff, where he gets to look at the artifacts that people donate and make sure they get logged in and cleaned and the research. So he's actually having a lot of fun.
Wow. So he's still involved. That's great.
He's still involved. So am I.
Yeah.
I've actually been with the museum longer than my husband has.
Really?
Yeah.
How many years is... well, I didn't know you were involved longer than he was.
Oh,
wow.
Yes. Jamie was, I think, like 23 years now.
Wow.
But back when Bev York was the director and things were a little tight, they were having trouble raising the money they needed to stay. And Bev asked me if I would do a fundraiser, and it happened to be early August, and we live on High Street. And so I said, sure, we'll do a tag sale. That's the quickest thing I could organize on our property right across from Eastern. And there are going to be all those kids looking for dishes and furniture for their apartments and stuff. And so we did a tag sale, and I went to a board of directors meeting to turn over the money and to report on the tag sale. And I decided to stay and listen, and I found out how in debt they were. And I actually made a suggestion because nobody knew. I didn't know that they were that far in debt, that they were thinking of closing the museum.
How many years back was this again, roughly?
25 wow. years ago.
Okay.
And, I had no idea. And I said, well, if you're that close to closing, why are you hiding it? Why are you, you're hiding that you're going to close? That doesn't make sense. So this is what I suggested that they do. That they write a letter to the paper Yolanda Negron was the president. She wrote the letter and suggested, here's what's going on. We'd like the community to know, do you want us to stay open? Do you not want us to stay open? And we had a potluck at the museum. That was the deal, was everybody would come, we'd have a potluck, we'd talk about it and figure it out. If nobody comes, then you got to close. We had 50 people show up.
Wow.
And, we had Bob and Pam Horrocks.
Oh, yeah.
We had Faith and Steve Kenton.
Yeah.
We had, a whole bunch of other people who came. Obviously, we passed the hat. We raised enough money to be able to keep open for a month, and we got a whole brand new bunch of board of director members who wanted to do this, who could write grants and could do things.
What a wonderful story.
And I became president.
See, you've got your feet in everything. You've got your hand in everything, and that's it's not just about the Lions. You've done so much. I mean, the Becker Center, Becker Senior Center,
Beckish,
right? Beckish. I'm sorry, I meant Beckish. And then, of course, the Textile Museum, and and much love to. And we're thinking of you and your family, and please send our love and our thoughts to Jamie and we're all, we're all.
We've been married 42 years. Hopefully I'll get to have him for the extra 2. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And part of it is because I've worked with seniors and I've seen the progression of cancer in my clients. I know what's in front of us, and that, I think, makes it hurt the most.
Well, stay strong. We're all here to help you. We're all here to help you. Now let's talk about Friday, okay?
Okay.
And we got a lot going on. Why don't you list off a bunch of the stuff?
Sure.
And
So,
we'll get right
again,
to Friday,
money.
3 to 6, Bridge Street, this Friday. It's all about the No Free Shelter. Monetary donations and lots of items.
So if you can bring a check, that's great. But for those people who are just driving by, if, I forgot to do this or something, and you hear us on our megaphones, every car has little extra change in it, right? You have change in your pocket. We'll take your change if you don't, but if you have a check, we'll take that. And then for those of you who know what we asked for, people who are on the streets need these things. They need warm winter coats. They don't have to be new. Look in your closet. If you've got a coat you haven't worn for several years and it's perfectly serviceable, dig it out. Gloves, hats, mittens. They're looking for sweatpants and sweatshirts because that will help keep people warm. And when you sleep in the shelter, you're not sleeping in pajamas. You need to be wearing clothing, and that's something you can sleep in. They're looking for towels, washcloths, cleaning products because you got to keep the place clean. Toilet paper, everybody, paper towels. They also told me that they're looking for 55-gallon trash bags. Okay. I don't know why, but that's new this year. And brown bag, lunch bag size. And again, I don't know why, but that's something they asked for. And, gift cards. Dunkin' Donuts, Stop and Shop, Dollar Tree, Walmart, things like that, gift cards for people.
What we usually do is you'll see us again. We've been doing this for like 5 or 6 years now. I'll be out there as well. The connector, Chris Grant, Kit, Katie, Willimantic Lions Club. My father will probably be out there. You'll see us on both sides of Bridge Street.
Yep.
And heavy traffic on a Friday. We'll be, using the megaphones, putting the signs up. Safely pull over if you can help us out with some of the items that Kit mentioned. Of course, monetary donations. As she mentioned, you have change in the car.
Yep.
This is all to benefit the No Free Shelter. Again, this Friday, November the 8th from 3 to 6, Bridge Street, Willimantic.
We made $1,500 for them last year, just shaking the cans, just doing that. And we filled 2 trucks, the back end of the trucks full of stuff last year.
Now, if people who just missed some of the stuff you mentioned there, how can they find out of what they need to bring as far as items?
On Facebook. Can you guys type this up and put
Sure.
it on your...
Yep, I'll take that
Okay.
list from you. We'll put it
Yep.
on the WILI Facebook page. How about I know Chris Grant will probably be posting as well. But the Willimantic Lions, do they have a Facebook?
Yeah,
so
it's
it'll be
on
on
the, yeah, it is already.
Okay,
Yep.
so you can look at the Willimantic Lions Facebook page.
Yep.
And they'll have a list of everything Kit just mentioned, what they're looking for, the no-free shelter, the no-free shelter, that is. And, of course, along with the items,
Yep.
monetary donations. So money and all these supplies, like she just mentioned, you can go to the Willimantic Lions
Yep.
on Facebook, and we'll put on the WILI Good Company 1495.3 Facebook page as well. Any closing words that you'd like to mention?
I got to write socks on here.
Oh, so that's where it all started, with socks.
It started
of
with
course.
socks, so I have to put that on
And
there.
before we wrap it up, Kit, first of all, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
Are there any people that obviously, your husband, you want to mention that give thanks or show love to that have helped you along this incredible journey you have in our community? People you like to thank or just say hello to.
Well, I've been very proud member of the Lions Club. I have many friends. I think that's the best part about being a Lion, is that we not only make a difference by raising money for causes, that need us, or helping out with getting glasses for people who can't afford them, those kinds of projects. But the fact is that we're good friends. When Jamie made his announcement that he had the cancer, between us, we took over 30 calls, all of them saying, "What can I do to help?" So we just made a list. And whoever called first, and then, one time I couldn't take him to a doctor's appointment. We started at the top of the list. And I know that when Jamie is gone, I will have to move. I can't do stairs by myself, and we're basement, first floor, second floor. I've had 2 hip replacements, and too many sets of stairs is not something I can manage. So I'll have to move, and I know that when I put the word out, everybody's going to come, and they're going to help pack me
We're
up.
all
and
here to
move
help,
me.
and that includes me and, of course, Matthew as well. And,
And that feels so good.
Friends down here at the radio station come to us as well.
Yeah. That,
So-
when I get my trailer or my ranch house or whatever is available.
And that's the great thing about this community.
Yeah.
It's like an extended family. So
It is.
So
It's
we're-
just, we are so proud
you are
to
not,
live in this.
you are
town.
not alone. We're with you.
Yeah. And I do have one thing. If you know my husband, if you've had anything to do with my husband, then this year I want you to dig out your calendars right now, your telephones and so forth, and put it in for January. And I want you to nominate my husband for Cupid.
This is huge. That's right. I'm glad you got that in
I want
there.
you guys to remember to do that.
Jamie
So-
Eves, Cupid for
he
this
ought
year.
to be. He is.
Definitely.
He's the town historian.
Let's make that
He's won
happen.
Awards, and he would make the perfect Cupid.
All right. Well, that's a great way to end it. Yes, that is huge. So don't forget that. And again, don't forget this Friday, Bridge Street, Willimantic. We're helping out the No Free Shelter as we do every year. Again, we'll put the list on the WILI Facebook page. You'll probably see it a little on my page as well, and the Willimantic Lions page. And I want to thank you, Kit Eves,
It's my pleasure.
our
Thank
guest
you.
for episode 86. Thank you to Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind. Thank you to J. Matt Rupar, Willimantic Today, Facebook, and all the other platforms, Tripoli Pro Clean Services. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm Keith C. Rice, and in the words of the great Roddy McCumber.
Bye for now, folks. Bye for now.
And that concludes another edition of Hometown Threads. Got a story for Keith? Reach out to him on Facebook by searching Keith C. Rice or email him at krice@hallradio.net. Don't forget to tune in next week on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM, as well as the Willimantic Today page on Facebook.